Hi, my name is Atiya Rahim. I'm a project manager here at Erland Construction. I'm also a board of director for the NAWiC Boston chapter. Today we're going to do a tour of 100 Forge, a project that we've been working on for some time here at Erland.
I'm Keith Melanson. Been with Erland Construction for 14 years now. I'm the lead superintendent on the 100 Forge project.
My name's Clay Hennessy. I am the project manager for the 100 Forge project at Arsenal Yards.
Done several projects with Erland in the past, and it's a little different, a little tower. We did a tower in Stanford, and this one's a little shorter, but still has the same difficulties, and it's fun. It's different than a lot of wood frames that I've done in the past.
On a day-to-day basis, we're responsible for managing schedule, budget, subcontractor pool, making sure the owner's fully aware of all activities going on site. Basically, anything that happens on the job runs through either myself or Keith. So we're co-captains steering the ship to the same goal.
So here at 100 Forge, we currently, it's a core and shell project. So we own the mechanical side of things from the roof down to feed the spaces where future tenants will tie into. Each floor has men's and women's room, service elevator, and passenger elevators. And that's really all we own at this point in time, all the shaft work, from mechanical spaces to tenant spaces for future fit-outs.
So there are a few interesting components in this project. You might not think it looking at it, but there's 12 feet of concrete almost for the full footprint underneath the building. So that in itself was a massive undertaking. And then the whole building is built to support a lab, which is a little heavier per square foot as a normal building would be. So there's a lot of big steel, a lot of big concrete, and then the mechanical penthouse alone has some really big equipment up there. So there's generators, chillers, cooling towers. It's a lot of stuff crammed in a small footprint. So it took a lot of coordination to get there, but it'll be quite the sight when it's done.
This particular project, there is a mechanical penthouse that feeds the beast, we'll say. If you looked at a coordination drawing, you'd be hard-pressed to figure out where everything goes. And it's amazing to me, and on the tour, you'll get to see the hangars and some of the equipment up there. The air handler units are 70,000 pounds, and there's 4 of them. Just the size of the piping, and the mechanical pipe and the boilers that feed this entire building, through the coordination process and getting that stuff up there is challenging. But it's starting to look like art up there. There's 8 floors of lab space for future tenants. They've rented all of the spaces now, so one of the challenges is coordinating all the other contractors that will be in here starting in May to proceed with their work and making sure that our tie-ins are there for them, our balancing, the things that we need for them to attach their mechanicals to continue their fit out. And the plan is for them is to go in through into the fall. To turn the building over. And then our biggest challenge will be finishing up the lobby on the first floor. They spent a lot of time to make a beautiful lobby for these places to utilize. It'll be a beautiful building when it's done.
My history is with lab fit-outs and hospital work and things like that, which is very technical and tight, and a lot of it's not as glamorous. Most people don't see it. This one's been fun because you kind of get the big, exciting building. You're playing in the big sandbox, but you also have all the technicalities of doing a lab building with all the infrastructure we're putting in place. It's been a lot of fun, going through that process from shovels in the ground to where we are now, weather tight. So there's been a lot of new items that I've had to, overcome. But it's great to be able to drive down the pike and see our building sticking out of Watertown.
Yeah, one of the most exciting things about the project that I've enjoyed is it's more glass, entirely glazed building, which I haven't done in the past. It's usually been punch windows. So that's been challenging and fun and a different aspect, something I haven't done in the past. So I've enjoyed that part. A lot of the curtain wall, it's manufactured in Columbia. So we're using R&R contracting or R&R windows as a sub to kind of manage that process. Even with the challenges we've had in this day and age, they've got a pretty good process to get that stuff there. So it's been fun, problem solving some of those things and logistics, trying to get cranes and curtain walls. And they've actually have a crew out of Miami that installs the glass for them. So it's been fun. It's been a little different aspect to things I've done in the past. And one of the other aspects of the project that was fun was when we placed the MF1 footing, which initially was a 2,900 yard placement, monolithical placement. Through engineering, we managed to split it in two and do a 2,300 yard placement in 95-degree temperatures. And to meet all the demands from a structural standpoint and placement standpoint and logistics to maintain access to all the restaurants and Home Depots and all the retail businesses over here and keep everybody happy. As we all know, it's not an easy task, but when we looked back on it, it was very rewarding to the team and enjoyable.
Some of the big lessons learned for me on this job have been, coordination is crucial to start early and get it right the first time, especially doing a high rise. There's not a lot of room to get all the mechanicals up to the top floors, but they all have to get there. So there's a lot of shared space in the shafts, and it's been tight to get all the ductwork in and the ceiling heights required on the floors. So starting that process early is super crucial, and making sure your drawings are signed off by the design team is huge. That's probably the biggest takeaway. I mean, there's a lot of little takeaways from doing high rise that we learned, like whatever steel you can get installed while they're still erecting steel instead of doing with missed metals, it's going to save you drastically. Just logistic-wise, this site's very tight. There's no room for laydown, so everything's just-in-time deliveries, and then some of the bigger concrete placements takes a lot of coordination and police activity to make sure the road remains open and everything's safe.
So currently on the site, we are wrapping up the air barrier in the shell of the project, wrapping up the curtain wall. Next phase is the siding materials. Majority of it's glass or curtain wall. We got terracotta on the north elevation, and the rest of it's metal panel. So we're starting to measure up and start to produce those things. The interior of the building is core and shell. A lot of the core mechanical rough is completed. We need to get a little weather tight, which is the big milestone that we're approaching. Should be next week. We should be, for all intents and purposes, tight, which will kick off a lot of the interior, which should be a big milestone to get that rolling. Elevators have been delivered. We're going to start the elevator work, and Erland is looking to do the tenant fit out on several floors starting in May. So getting that turned for tenant fit outs and getting those crews rolling will be a huge milestone to get to.